songbook.
As close as I can.
Okay, can everyone hear me? Yeah.
What do you think about moving up here instead of way back there? Yeah, bring a chair.
Okay.
This is majority, and people should just move on next door.
Yeah, yeah. Haribol. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopirana Vallabha Shivaradari Jaya Gopirana Vallabha Shivaradari Yashodanandana Bhajatana Ranjana Yashodanandana Bhajatana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam class. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. This is amazing. We have like a full house in person. That's really beautiful. And what's your name? Vinesh.
Yeah.
And your name? Sheila? Sheena. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Where are you visiting from?
So I'm from London, so go to the dance man.
And you as well?
Well, I'm from around here. I live in Devi.
Oh, okay. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.13.19. And pull it up on your phones. Because of the online audience as well, I'll just chant it and then read the synonyms and translation and purport. Yavad vasapa vasakapa kapapur yavad karangri adikam yavad yasti vishana venudala sikyavad vibhushambaram yavad chilaguna bidakati ayo yavad viharadikam sarvam vishnumayam kironikavad aja sarvo swarupo baba. Don't really know what the what this tune is for that. I'm sorry, I totally did not do a nice job at that. The synonyms are Yavat Vatsapa, exactly like the cowherd boys, Vatsaka Alpaka Vapu, and exactly like the tender bodies of the calves, Yavat Kara Angri Adikam, exactly to the measurement of their particular varieties of legs and hands, Yavat Yasti Vishana Venudala Sik, not only like their bodies, but exactly like their bugles, flutes, sticks, lunch bags, and so on. Yavat Vibhusha Ambaram, exactly like their ornaments and dress, and all their varied particulars. Yavat Silaguna Abida Akrutivaya, their exact character, habits, features, attributes, and explicit bodily features. Yavat Vihara Adikam, exactly according to their tastes or amusements. Sarvam, everything in detail. Vishnu Mayam, expansions of Vasudev, Vishnu. Gira Angavat, voices exactly like theirs. Aja, Krishna. Sarva Svarupa Baba, created everything in detail as himself without any change. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. By his Vasudev feature, Krishna simultaneously expanded himself into the exact number of missing cowherd boys and calves, with their exact bodily features, their particular types of hands, legs, and other limbs, their sticks, bugles, and flutes, their lunch bags, their particular types of dress and ornaments placed in various ways, their names, ages, and forms, and their special activities and characteristics. By expanding himself in this way, beautiful Krishna proved the statement, Smagu Jagad Vishnumayam, Lord Vishnu is all-pervading. Purport. As stated in the Brahma Samhita, Advaitam Achutam Anandim Anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Nava Yovanam Cha. Krishna, Param, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is Adyam, the beginning of everything. He is Adi Purusham, the ever-youthful original person. He can expand himself in more forms than one can imagine, yet he does not fall down from his original form as Krishna. Therefore, he is called Achyuta. This is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sarvam Vishnumayam Jagat. Sarvam Kalv Idam Brahma. Krishna thus proved that he is everything, that he can become everything, but that still he is personally different from everything. Machdani Sarvabhutani Nachaham Tesh Avashita. This is Krishna, who is understood by Achintya Beta Beta Tattva philosophy. Purnasya Purnaman Raya Purnamabhavishishate. Krishna is always complete, and although he can create millions of universes, all of them full in all opulences, he remains as opulent as ever, without any change. Advaitam. This is explained by different Vaishnavacharyas through philosophies such as Vishuddhadvaita, Vishishtadvaita, and Vadadvaita. Therefore, one must learn about Krishna from the Acharyas. Acharyavan Purusho Veda. One who follows the path of the Acharyas knows things as they are. Such a person can know Krishna as he is, at least to some extent. And as soon as one understands Krishna, Janma Karma Chame Divyam Evam Yoveti Tatvataha, one is liberated from material bondage. Tyaktva Janam Punar Janma Naiti Mam Eti So Arjuna. Now we'll pray to the Acharyas to understand. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jananjana Chalakaya Chakshuru Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamaya Jaradishva Parandikam Vande Ham Shri Guru Shri Yura Parakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sagna Bhagavatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sudevi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vashtacharya Shatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. By his Vasudeva feature, Krishna simultaneously expanded himself into the exact number of missing cowherd boys and calves with their exact bodily features, their particular types of hands, legs, and other limbs, their sticks, bugles, and flutes, their lunch bags, their particular types of dress and ornaments placed in various ways, their names, ages, and forms, and their special activities and characteristics. By expanding himself in this way, beautiful Krishna proved the statement, Samagra Jagad Vishnumayam, Lord Vishnu is all-pervading. Humbly seek your blessings from all the devotees, especially the senior devotees, Adi Purush Prabhu, Arjuna Prabhu, who's somewhere in the building, and all other devotees, that we may speak something according to Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra for the pleasure of the Vaishnavas, Guru, and Krishna. So I would say there's three main themes from today's purport and verse. The first theme is just how wonderful is Krishna actually, the fact that he stayed himself. So himself, he didn't change himself, but he actually expanded himself into, oh, please come, please come. There was someone back there. Yeah, I just welcomed him in. I'm not sure who was there. Yeah, so he remained himself, but he expanded himself into each one of the cowherd boys and calves. So as we've been discussing in this story, it's okay. As we've been discussing in this story, after the Aghasura demon was killed, the cowherd boys, they went to have their lunch together, and they were all having their lunch together, and Krishna was sitting in the center of them, and all of the cowherd boys were surrounding Krishna. And Krishna, they actually all felt that Krishna was reciprocating with them and looking just at them. And they were having lunch, and they were all having a wonderful time laughing, and they were sharing their different preparations with each other. Krishna would say, oh, let me have some of that. Oh, let me have some of this. So Krishna was enjoying all the different preparations made by the different mothers in Sri Vrindavan Dham. And then what happened was the calves, they started wandering away. And because the boys are, even though they were only 5 years old at the time, it's the job of the boys to take care of the calves and make sure that they don't go to any place where they could be in danger. So Krishna said, you all stay here, you all continue having your lunch. Let me go find the calves. You do not worry, you enjoy. I will go find the calves. And he did that. When he did that, he had in his left hand some yogurt and rice preparation. And he went to find them. And Brahma was thinking, who is this? Who is this Krishna? Who is this young boy? What is he really made of? Let me test him. So we discussed in Monday's class that it's never a good idea to test the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You will definitely be put into your place if you test the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he decided, okay, let me take away all of these calves and these cowherd boys and put them into a different place. And we also discussed on Monday that they were actually not the actual cowherd boys. Maya Devi made a set of illusory cowherd boys that Lord Brahma stole because he couldn't actually test the real cowherd boys. He couldn't actually take the real cowherd boys because they were protected by Krishna. So when he did that, how did Lord Krishna respond? He could have responded in many different ways. He could have not even let Brahma steal those illusory cows, but he let Brahma do that because he knew that he was going to teach Lord Brahma a lesson. But he did something very, very wonderful. He's to reciprocate with all the Brijbasis who all wanted to have Krishna as their son. He expanded himself into all the cowherd boys and calves. The cows also wanted to have Krishna as their son. So he's going to make himself each and every one of the calves so that the cows can have Krishna as their son. And he's going to make himself each and every one of the cowherd boys so the Brijbasis can have him as their son. And he actually makes them exactly the same, their exact bodily features, their hands, legs, and other limbs the same, their sticks the same, their bugles and flutes the same, their lunch bags the same, their particular type of dress and ornaments the same, their names, ages, and forms the same, and their special activities and characteristics the same. So if someone had a certain type of humor, he would have that same type of humor, or a certain type of different like bodily gesture that they would do. He would do everything the same. And in this way, Krishna that he is the beginning of everything. He's the ever youthful and original person. But even though he can expand himself in unlimited forms, he does not fall down from his form as Krishna. So Krishna, he in this pastime is expanding himself into all the calves and into all the cowherd boys. But also, how are other ways that he expands himself? Can anyone name other ways that he expands himself in unlimited forms? Anyone? Doesn't he expand himself? He has so many different incarnations that come to this world, isn't it? Lord Nrsimha, Lord Varahadev, Kurma. There's so many different expansions that he does coming to this world. And then also he expands himself as Shirodakashaya Vishnu, Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, these different Vishnus that come here to maintain the universe. He also expands himself as Paramatma within our heart. He has so many different expansions, and he's actually creating the material world, maintaining the material world. And then he has so many different expansions, incarnations that come to this material world. He has so many different planets in the spiritual world, each who have his own planet. Yet he doesn't, it's not like he's affected when he expands himself into so many different ways. He's still Krishna, the cowherd boy with a peacock feather and a flute, enjoying with all of his friends in the spiritual world. So he's not thinking, oh, right now I'm expanding myself as such and such, oh, right now I'm expanding myself as such and such. Krishna is so absorbed in his pastimes in Goloka Vrindavan that all these different expansions can be going on without him even thinking about it, without him even realizing it, because he's so absorbed in his pastimes. If we try, here in this material world, we say, I wish I could duplicate myself to be in multiple places at once, isn't it? But we can't do that. If we try to even multitask, scientists have studied that multitasking is actually impossible. You can actually only do one thing at a time as conditioned souls. And we have to put our focus on, okay, now I'm doing this. Even if we so-called try to multitask, it's like, okay, I'm doing this. Okay, now I'm doing this. Okay, now I'm doing this. Okay, now I'm doing this. You're very aware of what you're doing. But Krishna can do so many things at one time. He becomes everything, but he is personally different from everything. So he creates everything. He also has created us. We are part and parcel of him. We're made as the same substance as him, but in quantity, he is always great and we're always small. Yet he is also different from everything. And this is also the philosophy of Achinta Beta Beta Tattva, that we're simultaneously one and different from him, that we're made of the same substance of him, but he is always great and we're always small. He is a person and he is different from everything, yet he puts himself into everything, right? Everything in the spiritual world and material world is coming from him. So this is Krishna. He creates millions and millions of universes. It's said that there's so many universes that, mustard seeds, black mustard seeds, everybody familiar with those? They're super small. If you put an entire bag of them, that would be how many universes there are. But he creates all of these, yet he remains as opulent as ever without any change while creating them. And even as Vishnu, all these universes are coming out of his pores, just as he's breathing, as he's inhaling and exhaling. As he exhales, all the universes come out of his pores. And as he inhales, they all come back into his pores. Yet he remained unchanged. Radhanath Swami, he always jokes, this happens, Lord Vishnu does this while he's sleeping, by the way. What happens when we sleep? What comes out of our pores? Nothing except unclean things that makes us have to take a shower in the morning because we don't smell so great. But when Lord Vishnu sleeps, he creates millions of universes. So, and Prabhupada makes the point in his purport also that this opulence of Krishna is explained by the different Vaishnava acharyas. And so we have to learn about Krishna how? By the acharyas. We should never try and step over Guru and approach Krishna directly. We should always learn about Krishna through Guru. We should always try and be the servant of the servant of the servant. And one who has implicit faith in the Guru, all the imports of Vedic knowledge are revealed. If we sincerely take shelter of the acharyas, then they will reveal to us Krishna. Prabhupada says such a person can know Krishna as he is, at least to some extent. We can never fully understand Krishna because Anantashesha, who has so many hoods, is trying to explain the glories of Krishna's one moment, but he is unable to do so for an entire eternity. So we can't fully understand Krishna because what Krishna does in one moment is absolutely inconceivable to us, and we could spend the rest of our lifetimes and the rest of eternity trying to glorify Krishna's one moment. But we can understand Krishna to some extent by the mercy of Guru. And as soon as one understands Krishna, one is liberated from material bondage. So if we can understand Krishna through the mercy of Guru, then to some extent, then we actually will be liberated from material bondage. Yeah, and that is the purpose of life, to understand Krishna and to serve Krishna. Actually, a devotee, their goal isn't to be liberated. Their goal is just to serve Krishna and to serve Guru lifetime after lifetime, however Guru and Krishna would like us to serve, whether that's going back to the spiritual world or whether that's staying in the material world to serve the Guru's mission. The devotee isn't praying for liberation. The devotee is just praying for service. But it's said that liberation is a byproduct of devotional service. So that liberation is automatically given to the devotee who just wants to serve. I think, normally I go until like 7:55, but I think that we'll stop here to open it up for some discussion and questions. So we'll start with the people in person, and then we will go to the online audience. Does anyone in person have any questions or comments or realizations? Yes. Please come here.
You were asking about the different ways that the Lord manifests in this world, how he expands himself. And when we look out on the street and we see so many hundreds of people swarming around, it occurs to us that, and Prabhupada explained, that Krishna is in everyone's heart at every moment, granting their desires, aware of what they want, and giving them learning experiences and calling them. And it's really interesting to think about that God is in everybody's heart, that Krishna's there, and he loves them. He never leaves them, even if they go away for a long time. And he's always calling them, come back. We forget Krishna, and he reserves the right not to reveal himself to anyone and everyone. So he's hiding and makes believe he's not there, but he's there, caring and calling. And that's a real interesting way to think about how one way that the Lord manifests in this world, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, glories to Prabhupada.
Yeah, I mean, that can be such a meditation for us as we go about our life. We can be walking down New York City streets and We can be looking at people and we can either be seeing them as who they are materially and liking and disliking them, accepting and rejecting them. Oh, I like that person's outfit. That person looks so strange, etc., etc. Or we can practice as meditation, walking down the street and seeing each one of them. Wow, Krishna is in their heart as Paramatma. Wow, Krishna loves them so much. Wow, they are not their body, they are the soul. Wow, isn't this? Yeah, how does he do that? How does he make all these different people who seem to have such, be so variegated, right? Especially here in New York. There's some other parts of the world where you can walk down the street and people kind of look more the same, But in New York, everyone looks so different. And we can actually meditate on how Krishna created all of them. And Krishna's in their heart. And also by serving them, we're serving Krishna in their heart. And we can also pray. One thing I like to do when I'm on book distribution or Harinam is to pray to the Paramatma in their heart, to give them the inspiration to take a book or chant the holy name or come to Krishna consciousness. And even if we're not doing book distribution, we can be praying to Paramatma in their heart. Please inspire them to take devotional service. Please inspire them to surrender to you, to become their devotee. Thank you. Does anybody online have questions or reflections or comments?
Yes. Sundarananda Prabhu, give us 1 second. We have a question from Andrea. Andrea,
please.
she can't fully realize Krishna, understand Krishna, but she wants to have some understanding of what happened to the if they were illusory gopas and calves, where were the real ones? So we understand that one batch of the gopas were created by Krishna, and then they were kidnapped, and then Krishna expanded himself into and replicated exactly each and every one of them. So where were the ones that were there actually in the first place?
They were at the same place. Krishna just put them they were just sleeping for a moment. So actually when they wake up a year later, this whole pastime was introduced because Maharaj Parikshit asked Sukadeva Goswami, why is it that a year later, when the cowherd boys came home, they were glorifying Krishna for killing the Aghasura demon? Why was there a whole year? What happened in that year? And then that's why Sukadeva Goswami, he starts narrating this pastime. So what happened was Krishna protected them, and it's they just took a nap for just a second. And so when they wake up, they don't even notice that any time has passed. They just continue their pastime. They just continue sharing with Krishna. They just, continue their lunch or whatever, and then go home. And Krishna just covered them with his Yogamaya potency so that Lord Brahma couldn't see them. But they didn't go anywhere.
Okay, thank you. Very satisfying answer. Sundarananda Prabhu, unmute yourself.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Champakalata, for the wonderful class. So my question was, you mentioned a great point about, serving our guru, our spiritual master, and hence, being close to Krishna and attaining that path. So can we, interpret that to mean that we should ourselves, excuse me, in our life, give all attention, resources, and our energy towards the projects and endeavors that our spiritual master is doing? Can we interpret that to be our only, our main goal and focus in life, and in this way, serve Guru and hence this process?
Yes. It's interesting the way that you phrase the question about serving your guru's projects and priorities. One thing that I want to the answer is yes. Our entire mind, body, words, life, and soul in this life should be 100% dedicated to serving our guru. And that can manifest in different ways. One could hear your question and think, does that mean that we must be serving the body of our spiritual master? Now, if we get the opportunity by Krishna's mercy to serve the body of our spiritual master, we should, with our full heart, serve the spiritual master's body. And if we have opportunity to particularly serve the projects of our spiritual master, the things that are dear to our spiritual master, we should also do that. That being said, service to the instructions of the spiritual master are as important as serving the body of the spiritual master, and are actually even more important. And so our entire life should be dedicated to serving the instructions that our spiritual master has given us. And we also should just be very aware that our spiritual master, as a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, is asking us to be the servant of the servant of the servant in Srila Prabhupada's mission, and that Srila Prabhupada is the Shiksha Guru for all of us. And we do want to be careful not to be like guru groupies and like see our guru as different from ISKCON. We should understand that our spiritual master, yes, of course, naturally we're going to want to serve the specific projects of our guru, but our guru actually wants us to serve Srila Prabhupada's mission. And many disciples of a particular guru might not directly be serving the project that their guru is working on, but if they're serving Srila Prabhupada's mission, if they're serving any temple of Srila Prabhupada, that is also direct service to their spiritual master and is pleasing. The spiritual master is pleased as long as we are serving Srila Prabhupada's mission. And that is what our spiritual master asks of us, to serve Srila Prabhupada's mission, to serve ISKCON. And someone who has the great fortune of, for example, if someone's spiritual master is Radhanath Swami, if someone has the great fortune of serving Bhakti Center, which is his project, or Chaupati or Govardhan Eco Village, which is his project, that is very wonderful, but that does not make them better than someone who is serving at Villa Vrindavan in Italy or serving at any other temple in the world. That service is equal. And actually, depending on the consciousness of someone, it's the consciousness that makes the service most pleasing. So someone could be doing even more pleasing service at Villa Vrindavan if their consciousness is totally absorbed in Guru Seva than someone serving at Bhakti Center who is doing it for, whose consciousness is not as absorbed. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it did. All right. Thank you so much, Champakalata, for a brilliant answer. It covered a lot of great points. Thank you. Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
so much for your beautiful, sincere service. Prabhu had such a beautiful mood of service and wanting to serve in any way, and would bring juices for Radhanath Swami when he was here.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Nanda Manjari raised her hand.
Hare Krishna. There is a question in the chat from Kartik, and I just want to read it. So Kartik's question is, why did Brahma pull this trick in the first place? I understand that he wanted to test Krishna, but why didn't it occur to him that stealing others' children is basically a bad idea? Surely he must have known that one moment in Brahmaloka equals a year on earth.
Yeah, that's a very good question. My understanding, and if Vasudeva or Sharon want to add something, since they're on the altar and they're senior and know so much. My understanding is like, yeah, he saw Krishna and he just wanted to see, if I steal them, what is Krishna going to do? You know, how is Krishna going to act? How is Krishna going to deal with the situation? So yeah, he wasn't really thinking that, it's a bad idea to steal other people's children. He was just thinking, okay, Krishna is this big shot. Who is he really though? He was bewildered that he had killed Aghasura, and then he was bewildered that he was just, taking lunch with his friends, and he just didn't really understand. So he wanted to test Krishna. And I asked my Shiksha Guru yesterday, I asked him, was it that Brahma became a pure devotee after this pastime? Or was he a pure devotee before this pastime because he was testing Krishna? And he said that he also could have been influenced by Krishna's yoga maya for the purpose of having this pastime. So Krishna's internal potency could have influenced him to make this decision to steal the calves and the cowherd boys simply so that Krishna could perform this pastime, reciprocate with the Brajbasis, and show his opulence. I hope that answers your question. Any other questions?
I have a question. All right. So Krishna effortlessly recreated all the personalities that were supposedly stolen by Brahma. And those were Vishnu Tattvas, right? They weren't Jivas. Krishna's expansions. And so Krishna was able to effortlessly recreate different personalities, senses of humor and all that. So why did Krishna bother to create us? If he could have just expanded himself in the same way he did to bewilder Brahma.
For the purpose of relationship, because we have to remember that Krishna exists to love and be loved. And if he just made expansions of himself, it wouldn't be as fun. He wants to create all of us because he wants to have loving relationships with us. And he gave us free will, because if someone doesn't have free will, then it's not so much fun, because you know that they have to love you. But if someone has free will and they can choose whether or not to love you, then it makes the love real, because you're just so grateful that they choose to love you. So it's even though it's understood that, like, it's kind of like Krishna is kind of like when you look in a mirror and if you're playing with your reflection, that's kind of like Krishna. But he wanted to make all of us because it's more fun and has more variety than just expanding himself.
Right. What a far out statement. Krishna exists to love Sundarananda, to love Bhima, Champakalata Prabhu. Yeah. And I exist to love you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Champakalata, great, great. We're going deeper and deeper in this pastime. Wow. So much depth. Any further contributions? Loving.
Hare Krishna. Good morning.
Krishna.
I just wanted to say that emoji, the laughter one, that was by mistake. I'm in a car. I meant to press the heart because I really love that comment. So please.
Thanks for letting us know. Okay, the conch shell is about to blow. Srila
Okay.
Prabhupada will give you all darshan.
Good morning, Vasudev Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Jai. Okay. Have a wonderful day, everybody. From this day on, I'm not really sure if I'm dealing with Jiva Tattvas or Krishna's expansion. Looks like Rich is just Krishna's expansion. Hare Krishna, Champakalata, great class. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Love you all. Hare Bol. It was good seeing you. Hare Krishna.